Here we are in our set. It's a bit of a junkyard at the moment, but I'm with Digant, who is a good friend of mine and fellow filmmaker who has volunteered to help out in building the set on a lure. Today we are creating the clearing in which the male meets the female. We've laid down some moss, which is you can actually buy from a craft store, but we need to create hills underneath the moss. So we were trying to think of a way to create those hills on the cheap, something to put underneath the moss. And I'll let Digant talk about his idea.
So, so basically, as a way to kind of create cheap hills without having to use foam, I decided to start taking envelopes and stuffing them with a little bit of tissue paper. So, a little tissue paper, kind of wad it up, and if you get enough of those in these envelopes, then you can start to make these kind of forms. So we've got a nice big hill here. We cut these in half to make these kind of smaller hills, and we got this little banana hill shape as well. And it's pretty well compressed, so once we lay them down under the mat and tape everything down, it shouldn't move too much. So, but it gives us nice softer edges. Doesn't require any kind of carving at all, so it makes it a lot easier to produce.
This is as indie as it gets, right?
Oh yeah, this is totally indie.
Doing hills on a budget. Why don't we throw one underneath the moss and we'll have a look and see what kind of a pattern it creates.
Sure. So here's one where we've used, and this is the biggest, of the lumps here, and so, so we can do that, or we can, we can keep we have several options, with the material. You can kind of bring it in, and then it creates these nice little rivets that kind of run out, or you can use it with the smaller one as well, and it looks look fairly nice, and from an angle, right, it looks like a pretty nice even hill.
Yeah. Now the moss actually comes off, and in stop motion animation that's terrible because you'll see lots of things moving, and so we'll fix it with a spray, hopefully. Right. That doesn't shine, and we'll find something. So, Christine, what are we doing?
We're making bumps in the set.
And we saw a little bit of this footage earlier where DC created the envelope filled with paper idea to create mounds on the cheap, and now we're just gaffer taping it down to the set.
And we put the baby in baby jail while we do most of it.
Yeah, he just has to sit there quietly eating his little snacks while Mummy and Daddy get to work. So once this is secured, we're going to use some spray glue to spray on the base, and then we'll lay down the moss mat on top of that, and hopefully that'll get stuck solid. So we've now glued the moss mat down to the sheet of MDF, and here's a quick tip. We didn't do a perfect job just because of the way the moss flows over the hills, and there's got this black tape showing through from underneath. But rather than go to the extra effort of trying to cover that up, you don't need to be perfect because the whole thing is being shot from down at this angle and you can't really see that. So tip for beginners, don't spend a lot of time making things look perfect. Just think about what the camera will actually see. For the road in a lure, I needed something big and cheap to replicate the road, and so I found some wall insulation at my local Home Depot, and as you can see, it kind of has that texture of a road. When you get it, it has this silver foil on one side and this other plastic material on the back, but once you tear it away, you get this lovely pitted road-like surface underneath. And this sheet came in a 4-foot by 8-foot piece, which was too big to fit into my car to get home. So after examining what road cracks look like, I decided to chop it up in the car park, creating these jagged lines, and then when I got home I was going to piece it together like a jigsaw puzzle. Next up, we have to paint it. And here's how the road looks when it's half painted. It's coming up quite nice, but it's quite difficult to get into the little holes, so there'll be a few coats before it's finished. Here we have a section of the road that's been painted, complete with a white stripe to show the boundary of the road. Here's the other side of the road, turned upside down. On the back, I've stuck down gaffer tape because the foam has actually warped. And when you stick it down, without putting this tape on, it actually bounces up in the middle. So when our little creature runs across the road, you can see the supposedly hard asphalt have a bit of bounce to it. So in order to circumvent that, I've laid down a lot of tape. And this is what the finished road looks like when it's all laid down.